Okay, so let's take us back in time. So let's give it up for modern day IP4. When IP addresses first started, it used what we can know as a hierarchy system. Like in any business, you have a hierarchy when you've got the boss and then the slaves underneath. That's an arrow, by the way. IP addresses, the original ones, worked in the same way. But not just that. IP addresses originally were made up of two parts. And those two parts were known as the net ID, which was a bunch of numbers. I'm just going to use X for now. And the purpose of the net ID was to allow us to know which type of, which network wants the information or wants to send out the information. So imagine that this was England, like my office in the UK. Let's imagine that this was, I don't know, Amazon in the US. And let's imagine this was St. Ignatius School in Cayman. And this dude here wants to go online and get some information. The net ID will know which network in the world wanted that information. So each network has its own net ID. Now, there was another group of bits. So it was two. You had the net ID, and then you had the host ID. And the host ID, the aim of this is literally which machine on the network was the host. Was it the server? Did it have a server? So which machine was the host? That's simple. So you had a net ID and a host ID. One to identify which network, one to identify which host wants the information. Really easy. Now, the idea was that every device would have its own IP address. Every device that could connect to the internet. We're missing from this diagram quite a few devices, even things such as like a router. So every device that can connect to the internet has its own IP address. So basically what happens is this. By having the net ID, so let's imagine we only have the net ID, we're able to transmit data. So data is being able to be transmitted to where we want it to go. By having the host ID, we're able to know which host on the network is meant to go to.